Now, Brett, into the MLB, where you and I have still done decently well this year, although last episode I didn't do well anywhere, so I'm taking a look into some teams that have been doing well so far this season on the run line, and that's where I'm putting my money, like on the Boston Red Sox, who are currently the third best team in the MLB against the run line, behind the St. Louis Cardinals and the Seattle Mariners. I almost said the Seattle Seahawks, excuse me. But the Boston Red Sox, they are playing against the Baltimore Orioles, and they have Martin Perez with a 4.4 ERA on the mound against Jorge Lopez, who with a 6.49 ERA on the mound. Sounds like there's going to be a lot of runs scored. So betting on the away bats, I like it. Go Red Sox here, -1.5 at +120. Sounds like some pretty good value for a team that so far on the season has been doing well on the run line.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Higgins, Boston has outperformed everyone's expectations, I think. I think the pitching staff's been better than expected, and the bats have really come to life. JD Martinez has been fantastic. Bogarts has been fantastic. They've got some nice pieces, and we'll see if they can keep it up and potentially be buyers at the deadline. Another team that surprised people out of the gates, though, Higgins, the San Francisco Giants. Raise your hands if on May the 10th, you had the Giants sitting on top of the NL West standings. No one's hands are up, Higgins.
I don't see them.
So odd. No one had this in a division with the Dodgers and the Padres, Higgins. The Giants are sitting on top. I don't really believe the Giants can keep it up. I mean, Alex Wood is 3-0 with a 1.96 ERA. He's going up against Kyle Gibson, 3-0 with a 2.40 ERA. Something's got to give in this one, Higgins. I don't know what gives, so I'm taking the dog. This was going to be a dog play no matter what. I think both these teams are hot right now, and I don't want to bet against either one of them. So the fact that they're playing each other, I knew I was taking the dog in this one. They've got pitchers outperforming expectations. We've got batters outperforming expectations. Just give me the dog. I'm going to take the dog all series in this one, Higgins. I just think it's the play.
I don't know if I can back you on that. The Giants are 12-4 at home this season. I don't care who's on the mound. They're comfortable in their own ballpark, and that matters early on. Until that record starts to calm down, the Rangers at being 9-8 on the road, that's not hot enough for me to come into San Francisco and break that Giant streak. Not yet, at least. Not yet. The Giants, maybe they're not going to be at the top of the NL West come September, but in May, let them take this early lead. Let them fizzle out their early flare.
I don't know if you can be hotter than 5-1 in your last 6, and your one loss being a 5-4 loss, and that's the Texas Rangers. So I agree with everything you're saying, Higgins. I'm just telling you, these two teams playing out of their minds right now, and I really do think versus anyone else, they'd probably both keep this thing going. They happen to play each other for 3 games in a row. I'm going to be really excited, and I'll be tuned in. And I'm going to be rooting for the underdogs.
That's going to be a 10 o'clock start time for you over there on the East Coast. So you're going to tune in for that? I'll finish it off for you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be there for the first hour and a half of the game, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, Higgins, I think we've hit the nail on it here a few times, but these teams are playing well and they're scoring runs. Like, it's fun baseball to watch.
It really is. You know what else is fun baseball to watch? Any game that's in Colorado, because that ball just travels a little bit farther. It just travels a little bit farther, a little bit easier up in Mile High City. So you know what? No over-under right now is too high for me. And at 10.5, with the Padres coming to town, and the Padres, as of right now, their probable pitcher, it's Dinelson Lamet. So I don't expect there to necessarily be Lamette on the mound for a very long time. It sounds like it's going to be a bullpen day for both parties potentially. Lots of runs potentially going on. 10.5 is not high enough for me, so give me that over 10.5 at minus 110 odds.
Yeah, the Padres are, in my mind, Higgins. 2022 is going to be the year of the Padres. They get Marjan back. Maybe Mackenzie Gore's finally a full season in the big leagues. They get Clevenger back from the IL. So this team's beat up right now. They're playing pretty well. Although Tatis is hot. Although who knows with his shoulder, that's got to be a
Hmm.
concern for the team the rest of the season. So I agree with your take that the Padres' bats are fine. It's their pitching that is about a year away. And I think over 10.5 in cores, why not take that? I mean, that's as good of a line as you'll get at Coors Field.
It's basically a home run derby when you got Tatis, Machado, Hosmer, Cronenworth. You got some big bats, some Will Myers. Just a ton of big bats with San Diego. Any one of them can start hitting some home runs up in Denver. So who knows? And then you got Colorado on the other side as well. They got some big bats. But that's not the last game we're on tonight, right, Brett?
No, we got one more Higgins before we get into our Levy Lock pick of the pod. My last MLB bet on Monday night going to be Angels Astros. I'm just backing the Angels. I actually had to call my friend out in Oregon, wink, wink, to get a line because the line's not out in New Jersey. I don't think the Angels have officially announced their pitcher, or we don't know who their pitcher is going to be. But Luis Garcia is what I'm betting against here, Higgins. So it fits the narrative perfectly. I'm getting the Angels plus 110, and I'm betting against the guy who the Astros have yet to win a game when he has started. So I just feel pretty good about that. Again, it's kind of a trend, like how I would just blindly back the Rangers on a five, winning five of their last six. How you'd back the Giants, being 12-4 in their own ballpark. I would bet the Astros losing with Luis Garcia on the mound.
Yes, he is 0-3 on the season. The Astros are 0-6. He has had 6 total outings, and they've lost all 6 of them when he has pitched. So very good bet. I very much like that bet. I can entirely understand why you are on the Angels at plus 110, even though it's in Houston.
Yeah, you feel bad for the guy because it's not all on him, right? But like, oh man, like something's got to turn around before I start backing the Astros when you're on the mound.
Baseball's very superstitious like that too. I gotta see something different before I can bet on the Luis Garcia, especially when they're favored right now. Especially when they're favored.
Right, that's kind of how I feel, Higgins. But you want to talk about craziness in baseball? But actually, before we hop to the Levy Lock pick of the pot, I want to talk about this. Did you see the Mets game on Friday night with the rat raccoon comments? And oh my goodness, Higgins. I mean, I guess my 2 cents as a Mets fan would be I was watching the game live. I'm, you know, I saw SNY start speculating what may have happened in that dugout, which, to be honest, would not be the first time I've heard of players fighting in a locker room, right? Um, but I immediately noticed a change in the team. Like, Lindor hits the home run in his next at bat. They win the game, a game they had to come from behind and scrap out. Then they win the next day. Now they sweep the Diamondbacks on Mother's Day. I think the incident ends up being a positive for the Mets. I think, sometimes you need these arguments to happen as opposed to letting these things, boil up and boil up and boil up. And, sometimes it's good to just explode, let it out, and hit the reset button.
Whether it was a raccoon or a rat, who knows? I was not watching the game personally, so I only caught the clips that I saw on Twitter after I heard that it happened, to be honest.
A possum. Oh.
Or a possum. Whatever it was, it wouldn't be the first time that there have been reports of quite a large animal roaming through a stadium with a team that's from New York, or a team that's across this bridge that says they're from New York. I remember a few cats on a field in Giant Stadium recently, actually. So it's not the first time we've had stories like this, whether there actually was one or not. You mentioned the results, so who knows? Maybe we'll see the Mets turn it around. DeGrom got a win, I saw, so maybe that also helps.
DeGrom got a win. He was scratched on Tuesday with right side tightness. The game ended up getting rained out on Tuesday, and then he pitched today on Sunday, Higgins. But guess what? He's pulled from the game in the fifth inning with right side tightness. So the Mets will be the Mets. We'll keep being the Mets probably forever. So yeah, not the greatest win for DeGrom, but I mean, hey, they scored runs for him, so I guess we got to be kind of happy, right?